and welcome to Brewskis and House Keys. My name is Nicole Kostelecki.
And I'm Nick Papantanakis.
And we are here in our festive Remax Alliance office in Old Town Arvada.
It's such a happy feeling.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
It's so nice. And if you could see our whole office, it's just this times infinity. It's so nice.
So come check it out.
We love it. Yes.
When should they check it out, Nick?
Literally any time between now and I would say after New Year's, I think is when we take it down. So, I mean, it's fantastic. It's really nice.
I don't know when this episode's airing, but
it'll be before Christmas that this episode is out. It's going to be
I was going to say for
actual
Santa.
Christmas. So that's true, actually.
So that's why
I don't know if it'll be out in time, but we are having a little bit of a visit from Santa Claus this weekend. So it's true. It'll be tough. I don't want to put that kind of pressure on our super podcast producer.
Yep.
Nico, he's very good. He's very good at what he does. But I don't want to try and make him crank this out in less than 24 hours. So,
we'll see.
But yes, it would be fun to have people stop by anyway because Old Town Arvada is already walkable in the holidays more so anyway. People have stuff going on.
Well, Lawn Yop was on Monday and that was wonderful. Me and Nico's favorite was bluegrass. Yeah. Right? Traditional.
Can you talk through the whole process? What happens on Lawn Yop in Old Town Arvada?
You get a cup, you go to all the different businesses and you try way too much eggnog.
Or cider.
Okay.
Yeah, eat one or the other. Most places had one of each. So you could try them both.
And it's a competition.
Yeah.
So you vote and you okay.
Yeah, they get a QR code you'll scan. And then you can vote on there. You know who won?
No.
So they posted the results.
Am I going to be upset?
This coming to you now live.
Yes.
A week from after it happened.
The eggnog winner was
the
Arvada Tavern.
Good for them. Do they always
win?
Was
good.
They won last year. I think they're the
Actually, I like
Have you
one.
had their cocktails? There's a reason they're probably the reigning champs. They're so good at what they do.
What about the cider?
The cider was...
I personally liked Smokin' Fins because it was like spicy. They had their own spicy whiskey. That one was actually really good.
Dark Horse. Good for them.
Silver Vines, they put a little shot of wine and into the cider. I'm laughing because there was a tray of all these wine like samples and I thought that it was for us too, but it was to go into the cider and I tried to take one. My brother-in-law was like, hit my hand. I was like, no, those are the ciders. You weirdo.
Don't just take a shot of wine. Come on.
I know.
Okay, so
like, why not?
And that festival, what is it called?
Lawn Yop.
I know what it's called. I just like hearing other people say it. I don't know what it is.
Laganape.
Spelled
like that. But it was a great time. I love it down here. That's like literally one of my favorite nights down here. Because it's usually on Mondays or Tuesdays and not that busy, but all the good things about Arvada.
Well, and I think it's just kind of the kickoff of all the fun stuff that goes on through the holiday season down here. Yes. So it's fun to have that. The tree lighting happened a week prior. Mm-hmm. And so we have our big tree lit. The little holiday market is out there in the square.
Yep.
With the ice skating rink, which
check out our holiday
phenomenal.
Episode if you want to know all the things.
Absolutely. Because it's happening right now.
And it's great.
Really cool. Yeah. It's really cool. So I love that. This is a fun time of year. You also partake...
I need to tell you about this.
I really can't wait. I can't wait. You partake in something else, and the name of it escapes me, and we can edit this episode for content.
Barstool Bingo is what we had called it, but it's really chicken shit bingo.
It's what?
Chicken shit bingo.
Thank you. Okay.
Yes. And oh my gosh, it was so much fun. We had so many people come. They were not expecting it, I don't think. But because the whole back room of Clancy's there was like 100 people back there.
Wow.
I'm not kidding you. It was like standing room only in some spots. All the tables were there. And the chicken shit on one of my numbers. Our numbers, wherever my family came. And we got a bowling night to Wheat Ridge Lanes.
So wait, you don't have to get bingo.
No. It's just one. It's just one relieving of the chicken.
So I tried really hard to ask this question to Nico before we started recording. I mean, do chickens poop that much that they're just like a constant stream of like you could get 5 numbers in a row?
No, it's not quite like.
I don't know. I'm not a chicken guy. I don't know. I mean, I eat them. I don't know how they behave when. Oh,
you want to know what I yelled when we won? Winner, winner, chicken.
Oh snap! That's up there. That's a moment. That's up there with. Kicking a polar bear right in the ice hole when he goes to take a pee, which is its own episode.
So hard, I yelled it, and I was like, "Oh gosh, that was funny."
That's fantastic.
I love when I say funny things.
I love when I say funny things.
It doesn't happen that often, so when it does, I'm excited about it.
That's not true. Come on, kick a polar bear and kick him in the ice hole.
That was stolen from my grandpa and my dad. So.
Doesn't matter. It's solid gold.
But yeah, it was super fun. And bonus, this is actually really, really amazing, is we raised $9,300 towards our home improvement loans.
Get out of here.
Awesome.
That's awesome. And that's through Local Works.
Through Local Works.
That's awesome.
I'm so proud of them. So proud of us. All of us.
So a huge shout out to Local Works. And I think at some point, you got to talk a little bit about what that is and what that does.
Maybe we could do an episode about them.
I think we should.
Honestly, we are killing it. The executive director and the board, the employees that we have a great team. So I'm really excited.
That's incredible. Yeah. And having that energy for that community is big in Wheat Ridge. That's huge. So that's awesome. I'm glad you're a part of that.
Thank you.
That's a
Me
good
too.
thing. This episode's going to be your market update. Yes. We just got our numbers in. This is the very beginning of December as we are in the holiday season. And so, we do have our numbers to talk about here.
Should we jump in?
I think we should, but first we need to talk.
About beer.
We need to talk about the beer. So this beer, what is yours? I'd love to hear the name of your beer.
10 Barrel Brewing Company.
And you're drinking
mine is the Profuse Juice Hazy Indian Pale Ale. India Pale Ale.
Profuse.
Very good.
I like the use of that word.
I really like this beer. We always love IPAs, but this one's really good. It's a great hazy, juicy, orangey.
It is quite hazy.
Delicious.
Yeah, it doesn't have too much extra going on, I guess. It's just kind of straightforward. It's that one, I may have had a little sip before we started. It's really, really tasty and drinkable, I think, for a hazy. And those can be a little heady and little but
or have a lingering taste sometimes. Yeah. This one is like just very smooth. It's really nice.
Some of the ones that say juice tend to be
extra juicy, like, extra fruity.
This one is not.
And that juice that comes from like the yeast they use, because that's where that flavor and that burst of like kind of almost citrusy goodness. And
they put lactose in it to make it hazy.
There you go. So there's those pieces that like bog it down sometimes with too much flavor, I think.
But this is refined.
Oh yeah, it's tasty.
And you?
This is the Nature Calls Mountain IPA. Also delicious. Not a hazy IPA. It's kind of more of a traditional IPA, and also doesn't have the like painfully piney taste on your tongue there. So I think it really does. Yes, you may. It's a really at 6.3 or 6.5%. I think it's pretty drinkable. So. Yeah. I like this one a lot. 10 Barrel is a really cool operation. So I have kind of
this one better.
2 stories. I think of the 2, I might like that one better too.
I choose the Profuse Juice. Yeah. If you're going to choose.
Yeah. But we are biased. You're right. Yeah. We do love our IPAs, and Nico loves IPAs
these are both
too.
IPAs, so, but this one is.
Yeah.
Like
the hazy is always a preference for me too. Okay. So a couple cool stories about 10 Barrel. Number one is the Profuse Juice. Actually on the packaging, it does talk about what they do to give back to their community. So speaking of Local Works and your time spent volunteering your time, they offer 1% of their profits of this beer, Profuse Juice specifically, goes back to the Surfrider Foundation. Surfrider Foundation's big on the West Coast of the United States. So, excuse me, 10 Barrel.
Love that.
Yeah, 10 Barrel is based out of Bend, Oregon. I learned a lot today about them. And so when I was living in San Diego, Surfrider was an organization we supported That
is it for surfers?
It's for actually keeping the beaches clean, keeping the waters clean,
Love
that kind of stuff. So, and they do a lot of really good work. And so 1% of every profit from that beer goes back to them.
That's amazing.
And I think 10 Barrel kind of does that because there's a conservation initiative that they are giving back to with profits from the Nature Calls. There's just, I think that might just be an element.
It's part of their business.
Yeah.
It's what is close to their hearts, I suppose.
I think a lot of people are drawn to businesses that do that. That actually part of their business model is to have a dollar amount that they get back or a percentage they get back. So I think it's really cool that they do that. The other side of the story that I found out that was the less exciting or kind of sad part of the story.
Really sad because I just found out about this maybe 10 minutes ago.
So as I said, based in Bend, Oregon, but 10 Barrel has had this great tap room in Rhino, in the Rhino district of Denver since 2016.
I played mini golf there. They had a mini golf through all the breweries. I've gone down there a few different times.
And as of
apparently
November 18th, so less than a month ago, they closed their doors on their Denver pub,
sad.
Which is a bummer because this was a really good brew pub.
Are they going to open another place? Did you see anything?
All it said in the article that I read was that they opted not to renew their lease. So I don't know if that means that maybe they're going to stay in Denver and do their thing, or maybe it was an opportunity to consolidate and just keep it in the Northwest. I have no idea. But
who knows? I don't know. I follow their their Instagram page, and they're always doing some really fun things. They even have a snow cat. Actually, do you know they have a 10 Barrel snow cat?
No.
And they bring it around.
What?
Or a snow truck, snow cat, something. They take it to all the different resorts, and they usually come to Colorado too. And this snow cat comes down, and there's a bar, and they have a big old party. I can't remember what it's called.
Is it a party on tracks?
It's at the resorts, at the ski resorts.
But like the Snowcat, is it a rolling in party?
Yeah.
Like it has the beer on it?
I think, yes. So it has the beer on the Snowcat. So it's basically a bar, Snowcat.
Okay.
And they go to different
a food
places.
Truck on
wheels.
Tracks.
On tracks. 10 Barrel, we are taking a trip. We're taking a trip to Oregon.
No, but they come to Colorado too.
Well,
we're going to look into this.
We have to keep us posted. We have to do this because seriously, I'm not kidding. That sounds awesome.
It's cool.
And if I had the opportunity to be on my snowboard and enjoy this delicious beer at the same time.
Yeah. Party on.
Almost a perfect day.
Speaking of partying on.
Don't want to go too crazy.
Let's chat about the market stats.
We know they love the numbers. We know they love the numbers.
Okay.
Let's jump in.
All right. So here is our market update. So for the month of November, the average price of the home was $657,610. And that was a 0.2% decrease from October's months. Okay. And then the median price of a home for residential was $565,000. And that's a 0.55% decrease from October. So not too much of a decrease, not huge, but
staying relatively flat.
Down.
But
yeah, pretty flat.
But you can still see it. It's making that slope, right?
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a slope.
It's kind of stabilizing.
Which we've seen for the last few months too, which is good, actually.
Yep. And then the median price of a single family home that is a detached home was $615,000. And that's 0.92% decrease. Okay. And then for the attached homes, the median price was $410,000. And that actually was an increase from October, so by 1.23%. So
which is interesting.
It is interesting.
Because, you're talking about the attached prices going up while the detached are going down. What I find interesting about that, it's almost as though
maybe there's more competition.
You get a little more. Competition on the single family side. So maybe people can start to edge their way toward. Maybe my first home is a townhome. Maybe my first home is a condo. That kind of thing. And that's the way it was once upon a time. And so I think it's not a bad. I don't think it's a bad thing.
No,
I think
it's
kind
not.
of cool to see.
Not at all.
Yeah.
So, but honestly, relatively stable.
Yeah.
Not huge percentage increases from October months.
Which is a blessing, I think, given what we've seen. 2022 has been a very unusual year.
Well, no, I think it's been good. It's been stabilizing, which I think is a really, really good thing. But it also is very important to note that we are still up year over year. So I know, I'll go out and talk to people about real estate and they're like, oh, the market, like, it must not be as good. And I'm like, no, it's great. Like, it's great still. Honestly, it's a great market and it's stabilizing. So it's just different than what people have been used to over the last 2 years.
Wow.
It's so much
100%.
better. It's like less stressful. And I like it.
I know we've said it a lot, but what was not sustainable.
No,
it wasn't. It wasn't. It couldn't be that way forever. So
right.
It's fine that it happened. We all saw it. We all experienced it. Now we can say that we lived it and hopefully get to some level of balance for a little while.
For those people who think like the market's not still as good, I just want to point out that we are still up 4.63% compared to November of 2021 prices. So don't freak out too much that it's just kind of stabilizing or the market's, the average price is decreasing. We're still up year over year.
You know what that shows? That shows that real estate is still a smart investment.
100%.
Where can you show an overall 4.5% or more than 4.5% increase
in a year? I don't think anyone's stocks did that this last year.
So there you go.
Could be wrong.
Definitely not. That's its whole own podcast, which I don't know if we're qualified enough to talk on it, but
one of the guys on Local Works is he works in finances. Maybe we could bring
He might be a good guy to talk to.
That'd be a good plan, actually.
Does he drink beer?
He does.
Oh, well, I like it.
He's in.
I like it.
All right. Darren, you're up.
But it is. I mean, you think about that. That's a sound investment.
Yeah.
1 year, 4.5% increase.
Yeah.
On a large asset. That's a big deal.
It is a big deal. So I like to point that out whenever anyone says, oh, the market's not as hot anymore. And you're like, well, are you sure?
It's not a short term. It's a long term game, right? Yeah. So
now,
I mean, average days in the MLS reflect that too. We've been talking about it for the last few months on the updates, right?
Yeah.
That we're going to see it tick up eventually. Well, the numbers are actually reflecting what we've seen close now. And we're looking at an overall average, which is all combined of 34 days, which is, I mean, you're talking a 20% increase from last month. And so that's attached and detached all together. Attached themselves were 30 days was the average on the market, and then 36 for single-family home, detached home. So that's a lot. Yeah. You remember back to February, average days on the market was...
it was like 7.
7 days.
I looked through my market stats that I put on my Instagram, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's changed so much.
Yeah, it's insane. So I'm actually grateful that it's balancing. I think that's going to be a word we say a lot today. And you hear the word shifting, normalizing, all that good stuff. But I think just maybe some sense of calm.
That's a very good point.
More than anything else. Because all those other words might wind you up a little bit.
Some peacefulness.
Let it be calm.
This December.
Let
Christmas.
it be. Yes.
Stability.
Stability.
Yeah.
What a great word.
Okay.
Active listings at month's end, down a little bit from October, was 6,253 active listings at the end of November. That was down almost a little over 14% from October, but to be expected time of year, right?
Yes.
Because people start to shift their mindset towards the holidays. May not be ready to sell quite yet, or maybe I'll just wait till after we do one more Christmas in the house. That kind of behavior. Yep. So I think that has a lot to do with that.
Same thing with new listings.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. There's there were 2,678 new listings at the end of the month of November. Looking at that, that's a 30% decrease from October. So we see it. That's a seasonality piece that we're used to seeing this time of year, which is normal. October, I think. What do we have? 3,887.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's
about 1,000 homes less hit the market in the month of November versus the month of October.
And I think November was one of the months where we saw a lot of the volatility of the market start to calm down too. Yeah. The interest rates calm down. So I think that was a big piece of it.
Yeah. Yep.
As well. Average closed list price, we like our closed to list price. I like seeing this number right around 100%. It was at 98%, meaning a few folks paid less, which was nice. Good for them. I think that's important because you don't have to pay at or above list price to win all the time. Sometimes, but not all the time. So that's a big deal. And then as of today, I like this number. Interest rates are at 6.29%.
Yeah.
I I think that's a good number.
That's a good number.
And it's not a good number because of right now. It's not a good number because of the year we've had. That's a good number, period.
Yeah.
I think for interest rates, I think as we go through our lives and as folks that are first-time home buyers, whatever it may be, are going through the process, we only know what we've experienced. But I think that, obviously the 3% were not realistic. We're not at 15%. Living between 6 and 8% is a really good interest rate on a home. I know that home prices have to reflect that too, but I'm excited to see that number.
Yeah,
I think that's good.
Yes.
So on the buy side, what does that mean? If you've been working with a few buyers lately,
yep.
So let's talk about that a little bit. What have you been saying?
So I have been working with a couple buyers, and honestly, I really think right now is a great time to get out there. If you're thinking about buying, in the next few months, and we hear this a lot, maybe I'll buy in spring or whatever. Honestly, now is a better time to get out. If you're planning to do it in the next year, go look at those homes. I think the market has become, everyone's realized kind of where the market's at. So buyers know that they can start to ask for things. They don't necessarily have to go over asking price. They can go less based on our stats. But honestly, sellers have also become realistic in what the transaction is going, to be.
There's a little bit more of this, like, sellers are expecting this, buyers are expecting this, and there's a little bit more of this happening where it's maybe even shifting a little bit towards
it is, yeah. So
even playing ground.
I mean, when the market was so hot the last few years, and then it just kind of took a little bit of time for it to stabilize, but now sellers are aware, okay, this is actually what should happen in a real estate transaction.
We can work with you.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yes. I think that's awesome. I think they're more realistic is kind of the best way to put it.
That's a big deal.
Yeah. So I do suggest to get out there and look. We're starting to see those normal yearly trends. So traffic does usually increase in the spring. It's hard to say what will happen as far as the competitiveness. So right now you're still able to go into homes and be able to offer less than asking, or maybe right at asking. Maybe a little bit more. Maybe you're competing against someone. You just don't know. But I think that will pick up in the spring.
And it usually does. So I think you're right. And
yeah. Especially on those houses that are very, very wanted.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's dependent upon the individual. But if their situation is they're ready to go, they just need to find the right place. Getting out and shopping now is 100% the right thing to do because the competition is so low.
Yeah.
Because of the time of year. So I know it's weird to think about that at this time, but it's also maybe think about it as this could be one of the really the coolest Christmas gift I can give to myself is buying this new home or give to my family is buying, so it's all relative, I guess.
Last thing I will say, we kind of touched on it with interest rates. I've talked to a few different lenders. They're at the low 6.25 right now. And I've heard a few different people thinking that we don't have a crystal ball, but thinking that they will kind of stabilize around that 7%. So, I mean, now's a good time too to get in there. Especially if you're going to own the house for a few years, 3 years, you never know. The interest rates might come down, then you can refinance. But if they are going to keep going up, then the sooner you can lock in that rate, the better.
Absolutely. Sound advice.
And you can always buy down the rate, see if the seller is willing to buy down the rate for you too. So
yeah, and that's an important one to never forget. Yeah. On both sides of it.
So there you go. That's the buy side. How about the sell side? So
a funny question comes up this time of year if you're thinking about selling is do I do it right now? Do I list it? It's the beginning of December. Do I do it or do I wait? Do I wait? It's okay. I'll just wait until the end of after the holidays. And unfortunately, our advice is always the same. My advice is always the same. It's the right time if it's right for you. So if you feel like,
I honestly think throw it out there.
I mean, if it's important to sell your home, if your priority is to sell your home or sell a property to remove it, maybe a layer, then I don't think it should matter if it's the holidays or not.
So here's my thought process. If your house is ready to sell, like let's say it's ready right now and you're debating on putting it on after Christmas or after New Year's or whatever, or if you want to keep it or put it on before. Honestly, I think that I've noticed the buyers that are out there right now are serious, and they are kind of waiting for the right one to pop up. So you might as well throw it out there.
As a seller, I think you have to 100%. I think you have to play.
You can get that first weekend.
Play the game that you're going to be working with only serious buyers, and that if you're thinking about selling in a month, and you're okay, here's the caveat: if you're okay with having your home show ready through the holidays, I think that's the difference maker for folks.
Very smart.
Is that it may be a time where you have family around. It may be a time where you have you're not used to having it completely perfectly tidy and show ready. So it depends on your situation. Yeah. But if you are, I agree with you. Absolutely. That it's almost a jovial feeling to walk into a home during this holiday season while you're showing homes and see the tree and see the lights and see the stockings.
To me this morning.
It's adorable.
And they have some sort of Christmas smelling candles, or I don't know, but it was so nice.
I was nervous where that was going. I didn't know Christmas smelling what, but I'm glad you said candle.
But plugins, or I don't know. It smelled like Christmas. It smelled great.
How inviting.
It was.
Yeah.
It was
really
so
sets the mood.
homey.
Like, I could totally see myself.
One like
It was so homey.
You think about the overwhelming like kind of good euphoria you get at this time of year anyway, hopefully for most people, and you turn that into the home buying process, and it can really, I don't know, you can really see yourself there, right? So I think that's a big piece of it. So I don't know if there's a black and white answer of
no, there's not.
List it now or not. It's what's your situation? Let's talk about it, because at the end of the day, it's got to make sense for you, and I think that's really where it is. A couple notes for if you are. So say you are going to pull that trigger. I think staging has to be part of the conversation now. It wasn't for almost the last 3 years because homes were flying so fast that we end up with getting the chance to see a home and then have it go under contract within the next day or two. So one of the pieces of the puzzle I think that needs to be considered is are you making that home very show ready? So if it's the holidays, is it show ready, and can you actually make sure that it's looking proper and fancy and nice for the holiday time? Stage your house. That's one of my big pieces of advice. The other couple things that I will think about is working with your agent. If you don't have an agent and you're listening to this, I know 2 agents that would really love to help you out.
Ding, ding, ding.
But work with your agent on what are they doing to really market your home. I think one of the pieces of the puzzle that's really coming into the forefront is use of video for your marketing piece, and that means drone video. That means video throughout the home. That means are you doing individual little snapshot videos for the sake of what the highlights are of the home. There are those out there. On my Instagram page, I did one that was at one point called, I don't know. I think one of the agents in our office called it like I was flirting with the camera. I don't know, maybe, but it doesn't have to be that.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
I have no idea.
You're like, hey there.
But
you're flirting with the camera. You're flirting with the audience.
I was flirting with the audience. And I can't help it. Sometimes I do that.
And guess what? That home sold.
And you know what? We sold the home. So
hey there.
It's not about that. But,
you looking for this
but I
cutie?
think
Come on in. Check out my mustache.
I smoldered.
Let's go.
I should have gotten a mustache for that one. Oh. Anyway, that's one. I think video is a huge piece of it. I think drone footage is a piece of it, and that's something that I know Nicole and I both have access to, thanks to a very talented marketing person in our office who also engineers our podcast. So thank you, Nico, for being everything that we need. Also, kind of a side note, I guess, and this is something that
important.
We've touched on a little bit in a previous episode, which I'll refer back to, but. If you are someone who owns your house free and clear, which we're seeing a lot, actually, folks that, as they either age or decide to move out of their home, that they may own free and clear, meaning they owe $0 on it. They own it outright. It's important to know that asset is protected. If you own a home, I talked to someone the other day who, he said, my mom bought her home in Old Town, Nevada. It was probably about 15, 20 years ago. She bought it for about $53,000. I'm like, what?
Good for her.
In Old
That is awesome.
like 58th and like
that
close,
is so good.
and less than $70,000 down here, and that home is worth a little bit more than that now. So
that comma moved over one location.
Yeah.
to know that you own that outright, most likely, it's important to protect that asset. And so that's where I would refer back to our episode that Nicole did a great interview with Andrea Kwame from Land Title. Interview, I think it was called Q&A with the title rep.
Yeah.
And they talked a little bit about, how do you protect that asset? And it's possible to do there, and I don't remember what it's called, but it's basically almost like an extra.
It's an extra insurance on your title. So you can basically, if someone pulls it, it will contact you.
Yeah.
So like if a title company pulls it, then you know, like, okay, why is someone doing this? There's some other additional protection that you can get. That one I think is like $50. 50. I think it's very cheap. Don't quote me on that, but I know
it's not
very
expensive.
worth it, and it's a one-time charge. There are other things that you can do. I mean, you could honestly, if you want to, like put a lien on your own property so that flags you.
Yeah.
So there's different things. See what works.
Yeah,
best for you.
the lien,
but it is
the
good
trust
to
thing is something you can do. And then just I don't remember what it's called, but it's basically that like protection piece, so that because unfortunately there are scammers out there that will look for properties that are owned free and clear.
They'll pretend to be the seller,
and they will impersonate the seller.
Sell it.
And they will get the money from the buyer, and then all of a sudden someone else has a claim on your home without you knowing or having any. So it's just important to do that. If you want more information, go back to that episode where we had the Q&A with the title rep. It's really good. Or reach out to Nicole or myself. We would love to talk through that with you too, and make sure that you feel comfortable with what that means for you, protecting your asset.
I'd also real quick like to add, if you do have a listing that's been sitting, make sure that your agent or yourself is going to check on that house every once in a while, so there's no people in it.
See also our Halloween house hunters episode. I think that was
there you go.
House.
It's vacant for sure.
There were some horror stories there,
obviously, or have neighbors, So
that's kind of our advice and our thoughts on the numbers.
Yes.
For November, we're getting ready to wrap up the year. You probably get another. I'll back up a step. I apologize that it's been a few weeks, but holiday, Thanksgiving holiday happened. We had some time to, reflect and recollect ourselves, and so I'm glad to be back at the table with you. This is fun.
Yeah,
I like it. And cheers. As always. Make sure that you are pause for dramatic effect, and just make sure you are keeping us posted as you guys view these episodes, listen to these episodes, shoot us your comments. We definitely love obviously subscribe equals automatic downloads, and we'd love for you guys to get this in your ear whenever it is active and ready. We'll make sure this is out ASAP, and we should have at least one more out before the holiday, I believe. Outside of that, one important piece that's not in my normal closing spiel, we have our first piece of swag available for our first 50 listeners. I'm going to send it this way.
Give it.
Okay. So our beautiful Brewskis and Housekeys bottle opener, which not only has our logo on it, but also has a QR that will take you straight to our website, so you can A, reach out to us directly, B, get our content on YouTube, on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts if you haven't already. Subscribe to those three things. And C, also go to our website and see our beautiful smiling faces. It's our first swag.
B, open up a beer.
I think probably most important. How did I miss that part?
I don't know.
Good Lord.
I don't think you said it, but that's
it opens beers. I feel like that's a missed opportunity there. Why did I miss? Thank you. That's good. I'm glad. This is why.
That's why there's two of you.
I can't be alone. Good Lord. I'll be lost.
You're
wonderful. So we have these, and here's the deal. We have 50 bottle openers to start off with. So the first 50 people to reach out to Nicole or myself via direct message, or what's the term? DM on Instagram. And our Instagram handles will be featured in this general region. right here as they phase in from our powerful Nico wizard there. Reach out to us directly. Say, send us the term.
Just ask us for
Open my beer.
bottle
I don't know.
opener.
Give me a bottle
And
opener.
I'll get you one.
Hit me
No
with one of
worries.
those things. We've got them. We want to give them to you, but we got to hear from you. So definitely let us know. They're free to you. We just want to, get some love out to our listeners.
Yeah.
'Cause
Hashtag pop top.
you deserve it. And hashtag pop top. I love that. That's perfect. So definitely reach out to us if you'd like one of these cool bottle openers. We've got them. But they're first come, first served. Outside of that, thank you to 10 Barrel. Although you're no longer a Colorado brewery, we still love you and appreciate you. You make good beer. And it was a good run.
I hope you guys get a different location.
Me too. Big time.
We'll keep you updated on that.
But you can still find it here, which is good, in
Yeah.
liquor stores and stuff. So that's cool. And then obviously we would love your subscription. We'd love your comments, your feedback. Shoot us some messages. Let us know what you think.
Yep.
And outside of that, we will see you on the next one. And as always,
Cheers.
friends,
Toodles.
salud.